or update needed for the minutes? Right. Sheena, you're good?
Yes.
Okay. All right, roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, I.
Sheena, I.
All right, minutes. Of what was it?
The fourth.
3-4 pass. 4-0. Okay. Who do we have the first
Cultural Council.
or to the Cultural Council? Okay,
Do
yeah, you can cover
Come
it
on
there.
up. Hi, MJ.
Hello.
You got a friend?
Yes, so Chris
Hi.
here is the chair of the Cultural Council. This is his
Oh,
second
Oh.
fiscal year as chair, and I hit my 6 years in a row. I actually had to stay on a seventh year because we didn't have enough members, but the local cultural council program has a precedent of allowing former members to remain as non-voting ex officio members. So I've stayed on as clerk, and just kind of the institutional memory, I guess.
Lisa, it makes me happy. Do you want to give Heidi your names for the minutes?
I know Chris,
So,
so Chris Christensen, I just heard her say MJ.
Yeah, MJ Stades, Stades.
Thank you. I'm glad to see a younger member, Chris. I'm impressed.
Yeah, so not counting myself and Chris, every other member we have this year is new of this year, but of the 5 voting members, 2 are under the age of 30, which I think, given the demographics in the town, I think we worked on trying to get some new blood up the pipeline.
So if you want to bring young people out, you have to give them something cultural and then they'll come. Right?
I think so.
There you go.
I think that helps definitely. I think that helps definitely.
So
Right, we have your budget up. There's nothing, at least in here, to nothing's really changed.
yeah, so basically that is the request we've had as pretty much every year that for many years going back in 2020, before the pandemic, we tried to get an increase, and suffice it to say, no one was getting an increase, and we know the circumstances are not such to have that be possible. My first year as chair, I did come to one of these meetings just because it was novel to me, and
Yeah,
sure. though it wasn't requested presence, I thought it was good to kind of check in. And this year I want to get us on the schedule, because last year there was the suggestion of possibly getting rid of the cultural council, and that kind of came out at the 10th hour, I would say. And so that was something that I responded to at the time in written form, but I had attended through Zoom various meetings going on to that, and at one point there was a question that was brought up, and I think Kristen was seeing if I want to answer, but was a little vague. Someone might be able to, and I wasn't expecting to be answering any questions per meeting I had. So I just thought that this year it would be good to check in again, and if there are any questions about our continued requests,
We're here for it.
yeah.
That's great. Great.
Actually, I do have one question. Again, it's rare that we get the Cultural Council in here because your budget is always so small. I was many years ago when I was on the Finance Committee before, especially during 2008, 2009 times, the state used to provide funding that we received we received annual grants for. Of course, at that time, they ended up cutting all of that funding, which actually bumped up to where the Cultural Council amount is now. We actually had raised it to compensate for what the state had stopped. And this is going back, like say, 2009, 2010. Just curious, do you receive any funding from the
So the
state these
majority
days?
of our funding is from the state. So
Okay.
when I started several years back, we were getting 4,500 a year, and it has gone, for a couple years, it went up like a 100 a year. Then one year it got bumped up by 500. It's now settled at, past couple of years, we've received 5,700. So the 1,500 we get from the town is only, about quarter, less, I guess, of what funding we get. So, whether our funding from the town got increased or just decreased, our overall, the majority comes from the state. But by having the town funding as well, that is helpful to in the past several years, the amount of requests we've gotten in terms of the amount of money has gone up quite a bit, as you might suspect, with the economy. So we're at a point where this last cycle, we had grant requests to the tune of 18,000. And even after we rejected several of the grants, we were still approving grants that, if we had been able to fund in total, would have been for something like $10,000. And so the 16 grants we funded, none of them we were able to fund to the full amount requested.
Okay, so you've been working with about 7,200 approximately.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
Just generally, for anybody that might be kind of new to this conversation, is this a rare appearance, right? Where does principally the cultural council, what kind of projects do you fund? What's, like your top 3 or something of kinds of things you like?
Yeah.
Chris,
So
whatever.
yeah. A lot of the projects that we do have been doing, especially now, because I mean, of course, we were joking that they're a younger group of people, but at the same time, that does genuinely have a difference in
Yes.
the funding. So, I mean, recently we've been definitely prioritizing things that maybe families or other groups similar to that
Mhm.
would be attending, so we can potentially bring more people into the town. And
Okay.
So such as library programs, a lot of the
Oh, yeah,
programs
sure.
that the library
Yes.
puts on, they have
Yes.
requests for funds for that.
Uh-huh.
The seniors as well, the Berlin seniors, their programs, we tend to fund 19 Carter's concert series,
Mm.
Link,
Oh,
usually
stuff too? Good.
has a request in. So
Yeah.
those are kind of our big categories. There are various grants here or there. We try to prioritize things that are happening in town itself,
Mhm.
because there are a lot of grant requests for regional things, and for the most part, a lot of that stuff is not things that we think are really gonna suit Berlin residents. There are some things in adjacent towns that we will, support maybe to a lesser extent than
Yeah.
other things. The Nestropa Symphonic Band has been one that we've supported grants to, the Virginia Thurston Healing Garden,
Mhm.
Mhm. Things that are, close by, and that
potentially include Berlin people.
yeah.
Sure. That gives me a good sense of.
But it's
How it
not,
where it's operating.
a big chunk of it is the library, the seniors, the school, 19 Carter, and a lot of them are grants to that. Part of the application process, they make it, okay, if you don't get all this money, do you have other sources of funding? So for that's something we tend to look for ones that when approving or not, that they have, a contingency in mind, knowing that we're not going to be able to fully fund them. So things like the library programs, whatever we don't cover, generally the Friends of the Library do, you know, some programs, you know, that have soft funding, you know, their performance that would be free if they got full funding, but they didn't get full funding, so there's a small, you know, ticket price or something, things like that.
Great, yeah. Good, I appreciate that you do that.
Okay, anything else you want to let us know about, or?
Well, just, we hope we can still get to 1,500. I mean, I think we all realize that finances are tough, so if, you know, it wasn't quite that amount of money to, you know, be no pitchforks out. And you know, if finances were bad, if we didn't have these financial crises, you know, popping up, you know, in you know, that pipe dream world, we'd probably want a little more money. It's not bad to not have all the money in the world, because then you do make decisions. Okay, this program is really not worth, you know, we don't want to just give money because it has been asked, you know, that, you know, there are a lot of tough decisions, but I think that's kind of a good thing. Why would you have a committee deciding it if it was just rubber stamping? But, you know, if we had a little bit more money, you know, in the future, you know, I think it would probably give it a better balance. But I think, you know, continuing on to 1,500 is what I would think is good fiscal sense for all concerned.
And that's been level for
Yeah.
5, 6 years, something like that?
At least 8.
Yeah, okay.
I think several more beyond that. I know it had been a smaller amount, you know, back in the day, but
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's been level for 15 years.
But you can't say much. Not many things can you say that about, so it's actually, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you
Like,
for your
take
time.
those
Appreciate
ideas.
you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Mary Porter, Scott Schultz, you know Heidi.
I do.
Jeff Nutting, our interim town administrator,
Right
and
on.
you know June? June Poland, count.
Think so.
MJ
I,
knows.
I've definitely seen you.
Yeah.
Well, I see people around. So.
People around, yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot more, you know.
Put some names on the people, how's
There
that?
you go. That sounds like a good idea.
Well,
All
thank you.
right, thank you.
Thanks for coming. See you guys later. Keep up the good work.
What do we have?
Very nice to see him.
We'll have the old one up here.
I like to talk about how the average age in the room drops.
Just temporary.
He, he graduated with Trent.
Yes, once I heard the
He's-
name, yes,
he's
I
young.
understood, yeah.
All right, so I guess next
Wow.
is highway.
You're up, Fred.
So that Trent could join that group.
He could. He could, absolutely.
That would be good for him, wouldn't it?
I don't know, if highway department was a committee versus an actual town department, you'd have more of a chance of getting him on that committee than cultural.
Probably. It's always hope. We do have an open position. Just saying. Come on. Look this free.
Give it a few more years when he needs his own benefits.
Yeah, that's what Jeff's working on now. So which one do you want to start with tonight?
Start with the highway. Probably the big one, right?
No, well,
No, solve.
yeah,
They're all big.
yeah, the snow and salt is probably the smallest. So this year, I didn't actually like highlight the things I changed. Or like I knew. Would talk on.
We can cover mostly like the bigger items. So first thing, we got the budget up is the standard on the wages. So
Yeah, so our wages went up because they got a step
COLA.
increase
And then a step.
Yeah, COLA plus the step, which drove our wages up.
Right, it's a 3% COLA plus a step, which kind of varies around 2%.
Yeah. Give or take that. Cause that was just what, almost $20,000 or 19,000.
Okay, so all the wage number is basically just from the COLA and the step. There's no additional hours in there.
No,
Okay,
and that's including the unfilled position as well, just in case it did get filled at some point.
okay. Is that a full-time position? That's
Yeah,
unfilled?
once it's the building maintenance operator.
Okay,
Right, that's a position that was filled, now it's not.
Yes, so
open.
Ken Patton actually held it, and then I brought him to us, and we were gonna backfill it,
Mhm.
but nobody wants a highway job anymore. A municipal job. I had a kid approach me last week, so I gave him the information to get on, print out his application, get a resume, that I haven't heard back from him.
Hmm.
And he's a resident. I don't know. So some of the things we did away with this year was the tires, because we got those all through last year, through last year's budget. Our grease and oil went down, because again, we, most of the services were done. Nothing's broken. We haven't had to buy hydraulic oil.
As soon as he turned the corner, I knew why he was coming.
Can you hear me now?
You have to wait
I
till
could-
it I can hear you fine,
Yeah.
I think Roger's right about those people out there in the ether. I
Ah,
want to hear what you have to say, I don't know.
how's it sound, Sheena?
Breaker 19, can you hear me, Roger?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. There's nothing, it's good.
It's probably on mute.
Let's see where else. So drug and alcohol testing went down, because I based it off last year. Like we didn't have that many that come through, so I just kind of dropped that for that reason. A uniform rental went down as well. Boots and clothing went up because we had that extra guy that we had planned on, so we figured in his as well. Cell phones stayed the same. Those don't seem to be going up all that much. The traffic lines and painting, that went up because we added a few extra streets. So this year I anticipated if we had to repaint those, we'll have the extra money for it. Our building stuff, the internet, the phone, see, that's the same. Our street signs and posts went up because this past year we've had an incredible number of signs that we've had to purchase and put up. And the cost of them is just outrageous. We've actually put off ordering the ones for the 25-mile-an-hour town-wide because of that. The UPM, that actually, I mean, the cost of that went up. That's around like $140-some a ton now. So that increased a little bit more. Catch basin blocks, we kept the same because we do have a few that we do have to have rebuilt. But we have no major pipe jobs planned in the future, which is why the framing grates dropped as well. So we shouldn't need to have any of those. The drainage stayed the same, just in case we do have a cross drain we have to replace at some point. The guardrail bridge maintenance, that did increase a little bit because like there's some railings on the guardrails that we have to address. And the guardrail, there's actually a company that Boylston was going to hire to come up from Georgia, which Keith Clemmer did years ago. That's how we got the stuff on South Street. So he's setting up projects for his town and we're setting up projects for our town.
Oh, that's excellent.
So when they come up, they can just bang it all out.
Yeah.
And they do it at a cheaper rate.
Do they fabricate the rails?
No.
guardrails are they pre-done?
Yeah, they're all pre-done. Yeah, so they send a representative up. If you're coming onto a corner or something like that, they can actually measure out what they're going to need for the radius and things like
Yeah.
that. And then they have it with them. Our stone and gravel went down because again, we're not planning any major pipe jobs this year. The Skywalker, that too went down because we've called him out once this past year. We've been able to handle most of the trees all ourselves. And I think I said a couple years ago, when we got the bucket truck, you know, that's gonna get less and less every year. The more confident we get with the truck. The garage equipment tools, that stayed the same. The excavator hammer, we took out because, you know, we're not doing the pipe job in the lead zone. The catch basin cleaning is actually new this year because the truck that we had, we can no longer get inspection stickers on anymore, so we sold that. So I put a call out to DB Catch Basin to get a quote for it because they're the company that they're out of Bill Record. They work for they do the Lancaster DPWs, and they still do a few on their own because we don't have the truck for it. And to replace the truck, I couldn't, in a good conscience, come to the town and say, you know, I need $150,000 for a truck we use once a year, you know, for a couple weeks a year. So that's what I'm struggling with. So we're actually going to end up putting that out to have a company do it for us and see how that works out.
But that cost would be part of a contracted services cost.
Yes. Yeah. The stump grinding, that stayed the same, because, we still have stumps from last year that we gotta do. We haven't done them yet, and it's usually about $1,700, a day for him to come in. The bituminous concrete, asphalt, that's what we use, for either patching or if we do like cross drains or something like that, filling our trenches back in. That dropped down by 7. And the American flags, that too stayed the same. At the time, I didn't realize we weren't going to be flying the one up in the center of town. So that we may not even use that for it. And then just general office supply stuff around our building. Pens, papers, all that stuff. So, you know, I haven't been in the office all that much, so obviously that came down.
My favorite expense item, paper towels and toilet paper, that's my favorite line.
Yeah. Well, I figure if I break it all down, then I tell the guys, hey, you use too much paper. We got no more money for paper, so, you know, here's your socks.
Every year Fred and I do this, we talk about paper.
So your expenses basically come in, everything just zeros out? The
Yes.
increases and the decreases, so they're all level.
Yes.
Okay.
Good work, thank you.
It's not easy sometimes.
Mhm.
All right. What budget you want to move to next?
Snow and ice is pretty quick.
Okay.
And that one too, that changed for wages because of the COLA and the step increase. And also for one thing that wasn't figured last year was the holiday double overtime. I think it's how it's listed. So that brought it up as well. Or actually, that would have been on a regular highway one. Yeah, so that added at the most on one person $1,800 to that one.
So this was a new benefit of the double holiday or?
No, so that was something they've always had. It was just something that always slipped my mind come budget time.
Okay,
And
all right.
Just hope that we get no snow on holidays.
yeah,
Okay.
there's like 2 or 3 important holidays.
Was it pretty much Christmas, New Year's, and what, President's Day?
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's? Okay.
So that's fun to figure. It's time. So the plow blades, that went down because we were able to outfit the ones that we had budgeted for last year, got done this season. And snow and salt increased because that, so that varies from year to year. So right now, I think we're at $74
Done.
a ton.
For
Or
salt.
75.19 a ton, yeah. Last year, we were like 94. So, you know, each year it changes. So I just added 2,600 in for that, which gets us not quite a trailer load,
Mm.
basically. For that. And this year we actually ran out already. So I've already had to request additional funds for the salt account.
All right, so this is the pricing and such here, right? And we just do salting, there's no sanding, right?
With the sand and salt we do have, we put out in the bin for residents. To
Right.
A lot of salt just by me, that little intersection at Carter and Highland, boy.
That would be Tommy. And he knows he has to go easy by the library as well.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Any other questions on the budget? Okay.
So everything's pretty much level. There's nothing new in here.
Uh,
It's kind of level services, obviously not, the dollar amounts aren't the same.
right. Snow and ice is actually looking like it went up 14,000.
Yeah,
Oh, for
it
total,
almost
that
all
was-
of it was wages.
Wages.
Yeah.
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 And that also included the COLA plus the,
Yeah.
which affects there too.
So you've been able to keep a number of plow drivers,
Yes.
you haven't had a problem, okay.
Yeah, we actually had two of them retire for this season that we're in now. One loader operator and one pickup truck guy. Well, we were able to fill the pickup truck, but just left me to fill the loader spot.
All right, what do you want to go to next?
Yeah, so the last one,
192.
public safety building.
192?
Yeah. We're moving to
Any of the, okay.
I tried to keep this one as tight as I could too. Just it's tough because you don't know what's gonna break when it's gonna break. You know? So this one I did actually mark up where I moved this up to. The majority of the stuff were the contract increase prices. We had those through. Let's see if I can find a line. So the vault services Diebold. The generator service contracts. The annual water testing, the pest control. The cleaning service here for the buildings. We're all just contract increase prices.
So no, nothing extra that they're doing, just the overall increase of the.
So the one for fire pump sprinkler testing, we had this building done under this year's. So the only one we'll be doing would be highway for next year, which is why we were able to knock that down.
Is that every other year?
And then coming down, so I have one thing listed, the new service under the Plimo vent. So we were having issues with the Plimo vent, which is the recovery system for the fire trucks out in the bays. It's the hose that goes on the exhaust pipes. And so we looked into it a little bit more. There was a contract in place back in like 2017, 18,
Mhm.
and it was discontinued by the superintendent at that time. So right now we're just paying for cost for what it is. They've never been maintained. No one's ever been looking after them. So I reached out to the company. I have a whole thing at the garage that they'll come out and they'll actually do a PM of all the system. and then we can determine what needs to be fixed, if anything. What needs to be adjusted with the cables, the hoses, that kind of thing. Because all the tailpipes now, they're all different sizes. They're from 6-inch down to a regular car, 4.5.
Where is this one on the list here? Or if you can point to. on the
It's climb
screen.
event. It's under the stair tread maintenance.
Is it on this one? Oh, it's stair tread,
Stair tread
okay.
maintenance?
Yeah, just below it,
Below.
climb event repairs.
Okay,
So that's, I believe, the only thing that I did add new to the budget this year.
all right.
So the cell phones, that went up like a whole dollar. When I ran the numbers for what we've been paying monthly for 'em. And that would be the 1870 cell phone. Moore's cleaning supplies, I actually just got an invoice today. That went up because of like the inflation, just the cost of materials and cleaning supplies and things like that. So that went up. The fuel standby generator, we've actually been paying for that through our highway account. Because we have a key that we can go over to Northbrook Oil at any time, and we can pump it 24 hours a day if we need to.
So that's a diesel generator on this building, one we're in?
Yes, this one, the 1870 and the highway garage.
So 3 generators.
Yep, 3 generators. And we do that because we're putting off-road fuel in, so we're not paying the road tax. It doesn't save a lot that much, but it's
Mhm.
something. The bottled water, so that kind of varies. At times it's like $42. Some months it's 58, maybe somewhere 56, 58. So I kind of like average that out with the higher amount, should it ever go to that amount and stay. We don't come up short. The DEP annual charge, I actually removed it for the year. Because that was something when we moved into the highway garage, all our hazard waste came with us. We have a hazard waste station. We were supposed to have the permit transferred. No one ever did. So I looked into it and they told me then, you know, we're gonna swap the permit over, redo it and everything. But you'll be responsible for an annual surcharge. Okay, well, whatever. Well, we haven't got one since we've been there in 2019. So every year I've been putting it in the budget in case. Yeah.
Like public information.
Yeah, so
A bill comes in if you're.
yeah, yeah, with back charges. right?
Thousands of people watch it.
Well, all of $50 freed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the boiler vessel inspections, we actually have 7 of them do this cycle coming up, which is why that got raised. And that's the budget.
So your total increase is just under $2,900 for the building maintenance.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions here? Yes.
No, looks good. It's got one for you, though. I think we, I'm trying to dredge up in my memory. Didn't we do something with some funds to fund ongoing maintenance sorts of things instead of having to guess before and after the fact when you have a, did we do
Yes.
something with fund? Right.
Yeah, so
Is there another
There's no
line item
article.
in the budget somewhere?
yeah, so the first year it was done, it was actually put as like a separate, it was $10,000, but it wasn't
Yes.
included in the budget. It was a standalone
Article.
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Where did that land? Is that back in your budget or what did we do?
yeah, so that is actually, I tried to put it under the regular budget because I totally forgot about it. So it came down to like, oh my God, we're gonna run out of money because I didn't know we had the extra money there.
Wow.
But that's under miscellaneous repair and service, which is
In
right
your
underneath.
budget, it's under miscellaneous repair and service.
Yeah, it's listed right under the Plymouth van.
Right here. This is the
It's 31,000.
31,566 number.
Yeah.
I think there's also a special article too that we had put aside for
Yes.
repairs, maintenance.
Thank you, yes.
But it's also used not only for building, I think, but also for vehicle repairs. If need be. I believe it's under the select board and they vote it. I think it's the way that they had it. I don't think it's a line item. I think it's a special article.
Sorry,
Reserve fund.
it's a part of reserve fund.
The two articles of town meeting, too far away from the mic. Articles of town meeting, I think will add to that fund and allow, I think some, we're tweaking a little bit.
We haven't lost that basic idea that we're gonna have unanticipated expenses, and we don't wanna bust up people's budgets that are carefully planned out, because we know. But we can't pretend that it's not gonna happen, you know,
Right.
these things are gonna come up.
We
We
actually
just
got
don't know what
lucky
they
this
look
year.
like a year in advance.
Yeah, we haven't had any major ones. Well, we can say now, because I think we're almost through the heating cycle. But last year, like, we depleted that $10,000 within like the first month and a half. We had a hot water pump go downstairs. We had a couple of things. It's like, oh my God, so that money's
yeah.
gone.
Yeah, but I think from the FinCom and the town administrator perspective, we were just starting that. We're gonna start doing the responsible thing and put aside money for these things that we know are gonna come. We don't know what they're gonna look like, but I forgot how we did it and where we stuck it, and maybe Scott Hawkins. He did say reserve fund, so.
I think it was an article because we just recently spent some money out of it, I think, fire truck repair or something
Oh,
like
the
that,
brakes on one of the fire engines.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott.
Yes.
He's the chair, only do vice. So,
There is a reserve fund, sorry, reserve fund might be an old term, and of course I just clicked my mouse and it just disappeared. So at the upcoming town meeting, we're gonna have Article 5 to transfer $50,000 in free cash for unanticipated building, vehicle, and equipment expenses. And so it's an existing fund that we have transferred out some this year, I think more to do with fire unexpected vehicle repairs than yours, but it's the idea is that with the amount of vehicles and buildings we have, that there will be some unanticipated stuff.
so it's not, it's a special article. It's not gonna show up in the lined expenses.
Right.
It's-
It comes out of free cash, goes into a special fund that the select board can spend out of for restricted purposes of fixing buildings, vehicles.
So this is gonna move year to year. I assume there would be. The article that isn't ongoing, it's this year.
Again, as a special fund, it doesn't have a year specific. It goes into a fund that we can draw out of. And that every year, I believe that the capital planning and select board will recommend an amount that comes out of free cash that goes into it. Some years potentially more, some years potentially, but the idea is that it's generally not going to be an expense.
So Scott, it's gonna be, the article is to create that named fund
That fund, I thought we created a couple of years ago. and
See, that's
Right,
what
we
that's what
created
I'm
a couple of
getting
years
to.
ago and then
Yes.
we've used it this year for several different things. And that's why we're asking more money to be put back into it.
To replenish it.
Oh, so this is to replenish. The article is to replenish, yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to locate it. It was just.
But it's not
recently-
showing up in any of Fred's paperwork here
No.
on the budget.
No,
It's,
some smaller
this is-
repairs we put out of that. This is designed for sort of things of substantial
Yes,
size.
yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it was, if you want to go back to a town meeting in 23, I mean, we had replenished the fiscal year 23 reserve fund. No, actually, this was this
That could have been for the regular reserve fund.
actually, let's see, yes, actually, this was the regular reserve fund.
Or either, I didn't see the article yet, but either we're gonna replenish it or it'll become another special article that'll just be for the repairs.
And sorry, I think we might have at fall town meeting adjusted this because I'm not seeing an article to change the use of the fund at all.
No, it's a
It's a building vehicle equipment road expense fund.
stand.
Vehicle equipment.
Building vehicle
go into
equipment
that.
and road expense.
Okay.
So
Makes
I think
sense.
road expense was added in the fall to cover not chapter 90 stuff, but sort of other roads like the road in South Cemetery or the road to other
Yeah.
things that aren't things that are covered by chapter 90 funds. Designed again to be small because chapter 90 we'd use for things that is
So it
restricted.
didn't have to go back to town meeting or anything like that. The select board had oversight to it.
Any more on the fund?
No, I just wanted to refresh my memory and that I wasn't crazy about this, that we had done something in this area and that from time to time, we're gonna need to put money into that fund.
Yeah,
as
I
appropriate.
expect that we'll do it sort of every year, but it's designed to make sure that, again, the three big departments that have these, Freds, the fire and police, highway, fire and police, don't have to do what the maximum thing for all their vehicle repairs are going to be, because some will be higher, like fire is this year, and I think a year or two ago, you had higher for highway stuff, and so it allows it to not have to put all of that in all their budgets.
Yes,
All right.
getting the big picture now. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and then I don't know if Kristen included our staffing plan from 27 to 31.
Oh, your 5-year
A
plan,
5-year.
Is this
Yeah.
would that be under the highway?
highway or under the 192, Fred?
Yeah, this would
Probably
be
is the
high.
last page.
It's under
maybe.
highway?
Yeah, it would be 422.
Right there.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Oh, we get to do the head. Oh.
Scott's gotten really good at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so for 28 and 31, I was contemplating trying to get a second, third person put in for a team, only because we're getting more and more work. And it's nice that we can actually split the guys up. You know, they could be off doing this while we're doing this. Like today, yesterday, you know, we had a crew, we were out cutting trees, the other crew was out doing patching. So it's nice that we can get more, I wouldn't say more work, but like more projects started and work getting done on various things instead of like focusing on this, getting it done, moving on to this, because then it's pushing further and further away. So that's kind of my plan.
And all of this is full-time, every hours per week, I see it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're presently talking fiscal year 27, so you'd be looking at something the following fiscal year or idea then 3 years after that.
Yeah, just so it wasn't such a shock, like, you know, every other year trying to get another guy in there. Because right now we're 6 guys, including me.
You could always have less work. It could happen.
Right. Yeah, nothing ever breaks.
Yeah.
I kind of like Marion. It's a nice town.
No.
I don't know. And then for a 5-year outlook, so a few of the guys here in the shop, we kicked around the idea of a Bobcat, a skid steer with a planer on the front. So planer is basically what it's not as in depth as like road reclamation. It just surfaces, takes like 1.5 inches, 2 inches off. Because a lot of the tire ruts that we have on some of the streets, we can literally go in, plane them, clean them out, and put mix back in them. We could do our cross drains with them whenever we're doing a pipe. Instead of taking the man hours to cut it with a saw, go out and dig it all out, you're literally going to pulverize it and just start digging right away. And then you can also get other attachments later on down the road. Whereas at some point, the Bomford mower, the Diamond mower is going to be replaced. And they make them for the smaller machines, which obviously is going to be like 1/3 the cost of that monster we have. There's snow blower
So
attachments.
the planer would actually grinds the asphalt surface.
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, and we borrowed Clinton's one time because it has to be on a high flow machine. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so we borrowed Clinton's when we did an overlay, because we were responsible for the joints.
Mm.
And so they came over with the operator, set the machine up and did its thing on 4 spots. That would have taken us almost a full day, because we had to cut it, chip it,
Yep.
and clean it out. So it worked real quick and we were able to move on. And then another thing later on down the road is we like to get a material screener. Right now, we currently borrow the town of Northborough's whenever we have to do any material screening at the transfer station. And they're gracious enough to let us borrow it, but theirs is almost not roadworthy. So,
We'll get them to buy a new.
well, that's what it was. when I give
I was gonna say,
people-
you just split it.
Well,
Would that be a?
that's another thing because
Thought?
we do with the bucket truck.
Yeah, with Clinton, I mean,
Yeah. But, yeah, so the used price was just, I did that thing on municipal bid and it came up with 55,000. Just for a price. The Bobcat one, I really didn't pursue it, look into it because, it's one of those things that's a wish thing. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But that would get more use than a basin cleaner.
right? Anybody have any other questions on this?
No, it's pretty clear.
All right. Any other, that covers all the budgets for you?
Yes. Thankfully.
Okay,
You're
Uh-huh.
welcome.
thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
You're welcome.
Okay, next we have, what do we have about inspectional services? Is
Yeah,
that for you to,
We don't have a budget yet. We're pursuing. Looking at visualization. Should have more information in a week. So nothing to discuss tonight.
is our building inspector, retiring or do we,
April first.
April 1st?
Yep.
Okay, so sign his last couple of weeks.
So we're looking at both options, replacing the position, and we're looking at sharing, so. We don't have all our information yet.
Yeah, he's not full-time. No. Richard.
Sorry?
Richard is not full-time, or is he? full-time?
He has been full.
Yes.
He's paid
Yeah,
a
that's
full-time salary,
Yes.
he works full-time.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if that position presently was, and now you clarified it.
Okay. And then what do we have next? So we wanted to look at the financial articles. Do we have has the articles been,
Don't know if they're in the file. Are they in the Google file, the archive?
I don't know,
Google
if
Drive.
I asked, I don't remember seeing him.
We might have been given a draft for it, Scott. You want me to look?
well, extra, I'm looking, here's drafts of,
Have a draft warrant, but I don't know how I would move it from the, I have only read-only access to the folder I have access to.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen it yet.
No, I mean, I have a paper copy, but I don't have a.
can you email it to me?
Something you can share on.
Yeah, well, I'll do this. Doing the top secret over here.
Still sharing.
Some of these is not, I don't,
I don't think
What?
they are.
what?
I don't
I
believe they're.
don't think some of
final
these are
yet.
final, quite frankly. What was your break, we push this a week and we can get more information?
We can do that. Is there anything we want to cover on it now, or that we?
Just saying, so Scott, I emailed it to you, anything in yellow are things that are still potentially a fit.
It's
Okay,
good. So I'm
let me
looking at
go
our-
to sharing again.
I'm looking at our date, our meeting schedule, and March 18. We've listed review draft and well, that's our report.
Yeah, we have it listed for review, discuss vote on
Finalize.
annual town meeting
Yeah.
financial articles. So that's on the agenda.
What was on tonight's agenda?
Yes.
I think it's actually on the last few, just in case you had time to, I think, look at anything that was prepared, I think.
This is what I'm,
Share. Moment. Well, am I sharing it there? Is this the right thing?
You are sharing. I think it's-
That looks like it's
it's
that.
how they said it.
Okay. We have it up.
Clean. I'm gonna do free cash, so.
So what we can do, let's go through the ones that if there, anything that's not in flux, we'll just, cover those. So Article 1, this is just, finished for, was it fire EMS vehicle repairs, close out the fiscal prior year's expenses.
These are what we refer to as the housekeeping items.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is something from,
Every town does it.
Yeah. 25.
fiscal year 25 still,
Yep.
okay. All right, do we want to just get some votes out of the way? While we're on it, so do we want to have a motion here? Let me just do a motion. I'll do the motion to recommend Article 1, prior year's expenses regarding fire EMS vehicle repairs, total $3,477.14.
Scott, do you want a motion or do you want a second?
I just did the motion.
You did the motion, then I'll give you a second. I didn't hear the first part of it.
All right, any other discussion on that?
347714, Article 1, prior year expense.
Any other discussion?
No.
Okay,
She's
Oh.
okay.
roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
IDI.
Sheena, I.
All right. 4-0 recommendation on Article 1.
In Article 2 is only, the notes say that Article 2 only has that orange there to confirm the number with you.
The 50,
Yep.
yes.
So if you're fine with the 50, that's not in flux.
Actually, no, let me double check, because I can't remember if it was the 50 or if it's the 41
Yep.
this year, so let me.
Okay, so we'll pass on Article 2, which is for the exact dollar amount.
Peanut gallery, I have notes on my version that tells me why things are in yellow, and so potentially like June or Jeff or I happen to know the answer about why it's in yellow with my line.
And if you want to, you can come up. I mean, we've got, make you comfortable. Don't have to sit there with it on your lap. Okay, how about Article 3? Fund fire grant deficit. So you don't,
In June, that one was again also waiting for you to confirm amount and need.
Yeah, I need to touch base still with the fire chief on that to see which grants have been completely closed out and there's no other chance of us getting funds reimbursed for those.
okay. We'll move to Article 4. Is this
Article I don't
nope,
think has
not
any fiscal.
financial. There we go, Article 5, but do we?
The only thing is,
Dollar amount?
we want to add to this article before it gets printed, the amount we've spent in the past year.
No, other, okay, you just
But
want
that's the
to
only
add,
part that's sort of in flux about that article.
okay, basically you just want to know what practically how much money is in the fund
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
With the request to transfer 50,000 into it. Do we have any approximation?
Not off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay,
I didn't look at it.
all right, let's move to then Article 6, snow and ice deficit. We
Right
don't,
now, we're currently at 47,000, I believe, but it's not done yet, so it's just.
okay,
Skip
And
Article
update.
6 too.
yeah.
Okay.
And Article 7, or let's see. We have the capital improvement plan we haven't covered. Well, is this where we're gonna cover this? Is there anything next on the agenda for capital to come in to present? Do you have them for next week at all?
Mary, you had the schedule. with
I'm sorry.
capital on there.
Yeah. I'll see you next week.
The schedule for next week is final budget and financial article recommendations, so I guess
Maybe-
capital projects would be part of the final,
Right, but we don't have
recommendations.
anybody
Yeah,
coming
but their
in. from
numbers
capital.
have been approved. They've approved their numbers and this article is their numbers that they've voted on.
Okay, well,
Yeah, so I don't,
let's go through
normally
it.
we have operated with a liaison from
Yep.
this group to the capital planning group, but we're short on members and nobody's available to do the Thursday night liaison.
Yeah.
So,
They did come to select board. And so
Yeah.
from that conversation, I mean, out of free cash, they have one for computers for the library, 11,500. And then the rest comes out of public safety. And according to the free cash guidelines, they're allowed to spend up to 10%, which would be, $280,000. I think what they're ultimately recommending is what they are lower on the recommendation they want to put into capital stabilization so they could take it out in years
Right.
that they're over. Also to reimburse capital stabilization for the money we took out for the roof for Berlin Memorial
Berlin
School.
Memorial, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't see anything controversial in the capital planning projects that are part of what's in our Google Drive. I mean,
Well, what we have
we
here,
technically haven't looked at it
Right,
as a
right.
committee.
Right.
we're looking at this just from this article here. We're just looking at
So it's one of the articles we're looking at.
Article 8.
Yeah.
Article 8, yep.
There's gonna be, there's been two motions here, as Scott just mentioned here. Motion 1, that's coming out free cash, computers for library, 11,500. And then it'd be transferring from the public safety stabilization fund a total of $276,145 to fund each of these items. So we would have for fire EMS, pulse oximetry replacement, 13,022. Oximetry is, I got that right? Oximetry.
Didn't you have anything?
Okay.
Mhm.
Fire EMS cardiac monitor for advanced life support, 71,265. Also fire EMS fire turnout gear replacement at 28,000. Also under fire EMS forestry gear replacement at 26,720. And then under police body worn camera replacement, 34,816. Cruiser replacement, 76,322. Mobile radio upgrade, 14,000, and long rifles, 12,000, for a total of 276,145. Now, some of these things were already mentioned when we talked with the police. I know you talked about the radio upgrade, cruiser replacement. Mentioned also the cameras. So do we have anything we want to get further information, or are we good to consider a motion for it?
Exception of that library and the computers, I think all of this is in the, there's a capital projects tab in the budget. And I think it's all in there. In our Google Drive, I'm pretty sure it's there. So
What do you want to see from it?
Well, I'm nothing really. I'm just saying that I did look at that in some detail, but I think it's reflected in the warrant. I was just gonna say side by side, is that what we looked
That's
at
just the
before?
school.
Yep.
But
There
for the
there is a
library-
capital plan. No, the library one is
Library
on,
was
yeah,
in
so
there.
on the capital plan tab of the
Did you
budget
get this?
is
Yeah.
the same set of
Yeah,
numbers.
it's in
Yep.
our,
Right,
it's in our folder here.
right.
It's one of the tabs
Tab
in
on
the,
the
in the
bottom.
Excel file, capital
There you
plan,
go.
there we go, yeah.
Right.
The cardiac monitor for advanced life support is something new. Almost all the others are, I believe all the others are replacement. I'm not 100% sure of number 9, the long rifles, but I know that all the others are replacements of existing things.
Yes,
The select board's been moving down the path of
Yeah, it's
moving
all-
our sort of advanced life support for our
Yeah.
fire departments to better stuff, and the fiscal numbers actually look pretty decent.
Hmm.
I worry that they look too decent because there has to be a catch somewhere, but
no, Chief McClellan he had a pretty good,
he did, and I have tried to poke holes in it and have not found a good ability to poke holes in
Yeah.
it. He did his
Right.
research, he knows what he's doing.
yeah, it makes sense.
And so that goes down the path. There's money in the budget also to start doing the training
Yeah.
that is necessary to start us down that path as well.
Oh, typo.
So it kind of goes hand in hand. If we're gonna train our emergency personnel to be advanced life support.
They have to have the equipment to
should
get
have
us
the
certified to
equipment
do
go
it.
along with
Yep,
it.
yep.
That would make sense.
So so the warrant looks very much like this.
Yes,
So,
Yeah, the way it's doing is it's the 4 items under fire EMS. Right, because they're, you get that's under that fiscal year 27, those 4, and then these 4 under police that are under fiscal year 27. And if we go back to there's the 4 under fire EMS and the 4 under police.
all good. What, you want a motion or do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, or you can do a motion, you can keep it as, here, I'll put
Go back.
it up, so it's Article 8.
Move that we recommend the capital spending listed in this draft Article 8.
Okay, I'll second that. Any other discussion we want to have on this?
Yeah,
Okay, let's do a roll call. Scott, aye,
Mary,
IDI.
Sheena, I.
right? Article 8 recommended 4-0. And if anything changes, we can go and revote. All right, let's move on to Article 9. Transfer funds to stabilization fund. And this is the capital plan of what, the percentage. What percentage is that? 30%? Yes.
before we get into details on this, do we know where we're at with BBRSD and capital? Do we have? I saw there was something,
Came today.
there's something came, but it doesn't.
So the
make any
capital
sense
went
to-
up.
Doesn't make
um,
any sense to me. I'm not.
So the new numbers are in, we get that at 2:15 this
The
afternoon.
reason I ask is that potentially.
Is
gonna
this
impact
one here?
it's-
I'm sorry?
I didn't think so, but I don't remember all the numbers that there was, and I don't have in front of me the
So-
spreadsheet that said all
I'm coming
these.
here from another meeting,
Yeah.
we had
So what do you-
another online
So
meeting,
what
so I
do you-
didn't
what-
really
what-
study
which-
this.
Which question is it?
I don't know how this has moved from the last time we looked at capital. And there's no operational
So
cost
the
in
cap,
this.
so the capital went up from the original budget.
So if you go to the line item budget, Scott.
So this is a line item budget issue. So we just got the assessment today, or the vote, okay? So the original budget for the school, which is intergovernmental,
Or you want to just,
was depending on which, so the original capital for the Berlin Memorial was 25, it's now 169. And the Tata was 234, it went down to 175.
Did our operating assessment decrease by that amount?
No, the operating, which school? So the Berlin was 5,051,051. It's now went down to 5,035,035, went down 16,000. And the regional school was 4326 and it's now 4131. So that went,
So they don't offset the amount, the capital increase doesn't offset the operational decrease.
yeah, the increase,
Cool.
yeah,
Although operational does come out of tax and spend where the capital comes out of free cash. And
Right,
so
right.
that if they cut
Just the regular-
capital and increased operations,
Yeah.
it would increase the taxpayer amount as opposed if they do the reverse.
right, but the assessment.
It lowers the amount of taxpayers have to pay.
I understand.
Yeah.
This goes back to the conversation that I had. I got called into the principal's office, so to speak, but, so I had a conversation about
So,
whether they could
But-
internally adjust their budget to help us with our budget.
right, I mean, the specific,
That's why this is only half the picture, so then I don't know how it impacts us.
right, because the specific thing at what they was discussing, at least when they were last here, Aaron was pointing out that he was looking at a number of these things being funded through either their school choice funds or through or the excess and deficiency. And one of our requests was if you were looking at this is the other items that they had in there were typical things that we were doing in our capital free cash basically. And those for them to consider moving those so they'd be requesting them for free cash and then just using their excess deficiency and school choice to help offset items in the operating budget.
Right, I
So,
don't think
yeah.
they chose to do that. I think they cut some of the budgets, but. I mean, in talking to the superintendent and the business manager, they really think. A get together with everybody. Is, the way to go with the towns and what do the communities want to do? What else you might want to do one thing, you want to do something else. So, but this is how the school committee voted last night.
Okay, so
This, all that we saw that apparently loaded into our Google Drive are these capital numbers.
Yeah, this is the whole budget.
Well, we didn't see that.
Yeah, all the numbers are changed in your Google Drive. I changed them at 3 o'clock or whatever
Oh.
time.
I think you changed them on the expense pages, but on the free cash page and the.
No, I
Berlin-
just spent them on the spreadsheet that has the budget.
Right, so the
I
spreadsheet
didn't
has,
put them into, right.
right, the spreadsheet that has the budget has a tab for
Right,
the Berlin Boylston Regional, and that section wasn't updated.
Right, I just
That
did
said,
Thank you.
that- right.
That's what I'm
And
having
so-
trouble with.
and then the other half of your question is that the number for the capital stabilization in it was based on the previous capital request. And so there's a tab, Scott, on the thing called free cash.
Okay,
And so what that had in it was the yellow line for what we thought was going to be the request for the Berlin Boylston Regional School District, 259, 540.
No, it's
Um,
175.
Right, and so if that is,
077.
if that has gone up or down, that will affect the amount that we'll probably recommend for capital stabilization, because you could see that the 30% is 863, 558, where 11.5 is the town, which is the computers. We should subtract then whatever the new Berlin Boylston Regional School District and come up with a new number for capital
So you were
stabilization.
following where my mind was
Yes.
going, which is not easy.
Yeah.
And congratulations, yes, but that's exactly, so we're not ready to vote on the capital
Correct.
stabilization until we get to
Right, Yep.
some understanding with the district.
Yep.
Okay, now that's clear. Scott, did I lose you in the process?
No, you didn't lose me, other than everything else lost me was how things else moved around. There's way too much to digest in this short amount of time with stuff that just got updated, so how about this? Let's just go back to the look for the simple stuff here on the articles.
Yeah, I don't think 9 is
Let's
ready to be
clean up.
voted on right now.
Yeah, Scott, if you want to stay on the warrant, I'm fine with that. I just.
We
my
can go
question was
back to
really
that.
about whether you're ready to vote on Article 9. The answer seems to be no.
No,
And so we pass over Article 9 tonight and we can keep going,
Mhm.
right?
right. Next six, probably falls in the same category. This is the General Stabilization Fund. This is doing, what's the percentage here?
The general percentage by guidelines is 10%,
That's a policy.
and that you
That's
could
what-
do 10%, and the school's use or not use of capital won't affect that number because their use or not use comes out of would come out of Article 9, not Article
Right.
10.
So we could vote on this one, Scott.
Right. Yeah, because we have the free cash is just over 2.8 million, so this is 287,953, the 10%. Again, to general stabilization.
So I move that we recommend Article 10 is presented here in this copy of the warrant.
Okay, I'll second that. Any other questions or discussion on it?
No, she said no.
Okay. Roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, I.
Sheena, I.
All right, Article 10. Recommended 4-0. Next is to OPEB. Free cash,
Same policy.
Right, can I
yes.
Please.
comment on that? So the policy is still 10%, which is 287,000, although that does fund at a rate that very few to no towns do in the state. And matter of fact, the amount we already have is probably a slightly higher, but it's well below what the actuarial tables say we should have in the fund, but probably still above what many other towns have been doing. The select board would like to recommend 100,000 into the fund and not the 287 that's in the warrant article. And 100,000 is still a chunk, but the belief is that we add 100,000 to that fund will qualify for a higher interest investment account, which will allow the interest to really start helping us a lot. And so I thought it was a worthwhile fiscal standpoint to put in enough to qualify for that higher interest.
So I
And
got
that-
the number of 115 the other day to get to that amount.
So
Go to
just,
It,
I don't know whether, you know, I'm just,
I
well,
don't remember how much is in it right now off the top of
you
my
need
head.
250.
But you gotta have a total of 250
Right.
before you can invest in that high
Okay,
So we
interest.
can double check
So
that number.
then it's probably not that I'm ready to vote on tonight because we're going to wait for the recommendation basically from but the goal is to put in less than the 287, but enough to qualify for that higher interest
Yeah, to
savings.
get the
account.
benefit.
to
yes.
get the balance up to 250,000,
Right.
whatever is the minimum to do that.
So I was just looking for a note on this and I'm not gonna find it quickly, so let me just see, Jeff may know this. That somewhere in the DOR, DLS recommendations that you want your free cash to be 4 or 5% of your operating budget, something like that. You don't want it to be higher, you don't want it to
Every-
be much lower.
Every town has a different policy.
This was a state level recommendation.
Well, there's lots of recommendations. but
Yes,
A lot of
of
towns
course.
use free cash to balance their budget, which is
So-
not a good idea.
No,
Right.
and my question goes to what's happening here about going into OPEB is are we gonna, by moving that number, we also keeping in mind about what's generally recommended that you ought to have?
It actually
So-
increases the amount of money we have. Our fiscal
I
guidance,
understand
our
that.
fiscal guidance policy on how much we spend every year allows us to keep our amount above the amount that the state recommends.
So this is a Goldilocks question, not too high, not too low. That's what I'm asking for
Yeah,
our free cash.
I don't think we'd have a lot of effort to get to too high.
Well,
I just remember, I don't remember what the number is. I remember Dennis telling us all the time, that sometimes we would be too conservative about free cash and we were getting close. But I think in the past several years that we are not in too danger of getting
Right.
too much free cash.
No,
back.
because I think we came in at 2.8 this year.
Yeah, but
And
next year
then,
could be
and then I
1.8.
just.
I was just gonna say,
Scott,
this
look at the
past
bottom of the
year-
page.
Right, but next year could be
That's kind
1.8.
of free cash we've had in, I don't have the last couple of years marked noted there. I forget where, this is something maybe that was.
Right.
Handed out and I.
Well,
So-
this- you
Well-
also have to keep in mind though that we've cut budgets a lot this past year, so free cash may not be as great next year.
Yes,
Depending on what happens between now and the end of the
probably
year.
won't be. Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, but like Scott was saying, I don't think that they really have a high amount as far as the OPEB goes. It's more so, I think it was with stabilization, if we had X amount and we're there, I think, with stabilization to help in case we needed it later on.
We're
Right.
doing okay with
We're-
all that.
we're
Yeah,
doing
that-
okay.
That was,
Yeah.
And a key
Thank-
piece is these are in stabilization funds. I know you mentioned operating, none of the free cash here is going to the operating budget.
no,
That's
I
where you
understand.
really start to get the dangerous
Yeah.
Yeah.
categories, because that's non-recurring revenue on a budget, on if it's an operating budget is, recurring expenses.
Understood.
And we also have the flexibility of also where you can just go to a very low number if, you've done well in the past years. Okay, so we're waiting on the numbers anyways there. And next we have establish a revolving fund for annual spending limits. Is this the standard?
Yeah.
amount?
The standard amounts, I don't think there's any recommended changes for the coming fiscal year.
It goes up every single year, or goes in every single year.
It has to be voted every year at
Yeah,
town
but-
meeting.
Is this last, are you looking at last May's?
I don't have.
I might.
Yeah, he doesn't have the-
We don't.
they can-
Regular line item. Once in a while.
Remember, Scott, I was asking you to
donations, and it
take my
goes into
copy
a
of the
donation account.
I
They don't
think
have a
last year's.
revolving.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it?
All right, just a review from last year's. It was. So the dollar amounts were, if going by this here, library videos, 1,000, recreation, 50,000, town hall, 40,000, plumbing and gas inspector wages, 75,000, electrical inspector wages, 75,000, bucket, truck it expenses, 20,000, transfer station, 200,000. So it's, no changes.
It's identical.
Yes, identical.
Well, then I'll move that we recommend Article 12, draft warrant as drafted, as written.
We'll second that. Anybody have any questions? Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Sheena, I.
All right, Article 12 recommended 4-0. Okay.
Did that end up in our drive?
I can,
If
I
you
can't
can-
put stuff in there either, I don't think, so
Yeah, if you can, at least
Uh,
email it to me. so
I
when
can.
do sit down to do the
Yes,
minutes.
I will email it to you
Okay.
as a reminder as soon as this part is done. Cable Access Committee spending,
Okay, so it's just.
Yeah, they can't spend it if it's
Right,
not in
right,
there.
Right,
Yeah.
it's just required.
okay, so this is
Money
sum
in,
of
money out.
$60,000, $10 of the grant to be used for fiscal year 2027 operating purposes. All right. Do we have a motion on this for Article 13?
And I move that we recommend Article 13 as presented in this
What we
draft.
have Right now, there's 135 in that account.
Right.
Right now, so it's a one.
Okay, I second that.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Not I.
Discussion? Okay, so roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, I.
Sheena, I.
Right, Article 13 recommended 4-0. Next, we get into the Community Preservation Act fiscal year 27 budget. So this is the estimated revenues, so they have to do their, let's see, 5% to administrative expenses, $27,311. Budget, well, then 10% to community housing reserves, $54,622. Committee Historic Reserve, $54,622. In Open Space Rec Reserve, $54,622. There's 60 cents there too. And then the remaining for budget reserves, $355,046.90. So I'm assuming Tim has cleared this with you.
Yep,
Oh.
10%.
All right. Do you have a motion for Article 14?
Yeah, I move we recommend Article 14 as presented in the draft warrant.
Okay,
Seconded.
all right, we have a second. Any other questions or discussion on it?
Just checking the notes, but I think it's all. Yep, no. No questions.
Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, I.
Sheena, I.
All right, Article 14 passed or recommended 14-0. 4-0. Where do I, Article 14, actually, 4-0,
It's not even 9. Scott.
yes.
Not even 9.
He's starting early. Oh, it's almost 9. We'll give him.
Almost 9, I know.
We'll give him that.
So Article 15, this is the Community Preservation Act funds for the town clock restoration project. Sum of $40,850. Tim was here to present on that.
How about a motion?
Yes, up a motion.
That we recommend Article 15 as presented in the.
Okay, do we have a second? All right, we have a second. And any other questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Sheena maybe is on.
Nope, she actually unmuted.
Oh, okay.
Sheena, could you,
Sheena, I.
recommend?
Sorry, must have cut out. I did only heard Scott talk.
All right, next Article 16, this is Community Preservation Act Trail Restoration Project, $40,200. This is restoration of the, what was it, the Clark Conservation Area, which was damaged severely by the tornado last year. Do we have a motion for this? Or,
I move that we recommend Article 16 as presented in the draft warrant. Seconded.
all right, we have a second. Any other questions,
No.
discussion? Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, I.
Sheena, I.
All right, recommended 4-0, Article 16. Next, Article 17, Community Preservation Act. This is the Conservation Commission Fund. Appropriate sum of $100,000 from the fund balance for budget reserve fiscal year 2026. to engage the due diligence and expenses related to land acquisition, funds to be expended by the Conservation Commission in consultation with the Community Preservation Act Committee, or take any action there to, relative to thereto. Again, this was discussed by Tim.
Yeah, this is pretty much what we heard
Yes.
when he was here, and,
Do we have a motion for Article 17?
yeah, I move that we recommend Article 17 is presented in the draft warrant.
Seconded.
All right, we have a second. Any other questions or discussion on Article 17? Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Very,
Heidi, aye.
Sheena, I.
Article 17 recommended 4-0. Article 18, new voting booths. This is not something that I saw was mentioned to us, was it?
this is.
This is new. This will be requested transfer from free cash for the purpose of replacement voting booths, including ADA compliant units, or take any action relative thereto.
Oh,
So-
no, it's in our free cash budget, yeah, it's.
Yeah, well,
What's the
nobody has
amount?
discussed that, $9,000.
9,000,
From the select board.
yeah. Voting
This
booths.
is the-
So it was listed as 8,000 in the free cash plan that we had in,
this is 9,000.
like February, I think this
Might
is
have to
from.
reach out.
early
And
February.
actually, in the draft budget, it's still listed as 8,000. Jeff, we have to probably go back and
I'll
fix that on the.
check that out, yeah.
So there, it shows 8,000 and what we've got shows
Okay.
9,000. on the warrant.
9,000 is the correct number.
9,000 is correct, okay.
The difference is the cost of items since this was first brought to the select board, because we were thinking originally of doing it
Oh,
at fall town meeting, but it wasn't quite ready at that point in time.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is to replace what the homemade table
The
slash
homemade unstable
booth.
things
Yeah,
that would
just
not
portable.
fit well in the new voting locations when we move them to Berlin Memorial School in the fall.
Okay. So they would just be the purchase of commercially manufactured voting booths that are lighter, safer to handle, and more efficient to deploy at elections and town meetings. 2 of the new booths will be specifically designed to meet ADA accessibility requirements. The remaining units will replace existing booths to improve overall safety. Do we know what the remaining, I mean, what the total number is?
You have one precinct?
Yeah, we just
Yes.
have one precinct.
No,
yes.
probably had
What do we do?
6 or 8 booths, I'm guessing. I've never voted
I
here.
I don't know the number. It came
Okay.
out of the
don't
elections
know now.
office.
Yeah.
The goal was to have the same number of booths.
Yeah.
At least the
Yeah,
same.
right.
At
number
least the
as
same
been
number of
before.
booths we have now.
From memory, I recall 5 or 6 lined up. It was just.
Yeah,
against
five-
the wall, and-
yep.
Yeah,
But you
not-
only need 2
Sure.
handicaps, so.
They're on each side and
Probably
they're
gonna be 8.
wooden. And if you lean on them wrong, they could collapse.
You
And if
don't
they
lean on
collapse,
them.
well, right. If they collapse while other people are voting, you could accidentally see other people's ballots. There's definitely serious problems with what we have.
Hey, I used to vote in upstate New York, and you walked into a booth and there was
Yeah.
it was hardware stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you-
there were all these levers, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there was the giant lever in the
Yeah.
middle,
The old
and
days.
the
Yeah.
curtain closed,
Mhm.
and all the little levers cleared.
Yep.
And then you put them back
Yeah.
in, and then you.
Anyway.
did the same.
Okay, so
So Berlin was kind of fun.
All right.
Free.
do we have a motion for Article 18?
Do we need to clarify, are you certain on it's 9,000?
Yes.
You're certain,
Yes.
okay, then I'll move that we recommend Article 18 as presented in the draft warrant.
Change.
Yeah, well, that's why.
I seconded.
All right, we have a second. All right, we've had a good little discussion here on this. Anybody else have any other questions or any other discussion we want to have?
She shook her head, no.
Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Yeah.
Sheena, I.
Okay, Article 18 recommended 4-0.
So our first elections would then be in the fall
Yes.
at Berlin Memorial.
Yes,
Yeah.
so Maytown election will still be here. But fall, but they wanted to do like the primary, which will have a slightly smaller turnout to do it there. And because we can't get there's not enough time after we were given approval to do a Berlin Memorial to notify the public of a change of polling location. That's why Maytown election will still be here.
It's your last chance to lean on the booth.
Yes.
Thinking, not to,
Maybe we
not
can
during
auction
polling
them off.
hours, but we need to photograph the setup and we have,
Give them away.
I took a photo of the wooden
Right.
ballot
Yeah.
box.
Oh, yes.
With the
before
crank.
it
Prize.
gets
Right,
here.
and they still now keep that outside voting so people can have their pictures taken in front of it on election day, but yeah, it's not used anymore.
Well, I think,
All right,
it's an important piece of history we
It
want
is.
to document somewhere, right?
Will,
Okay.
Berlin Memorial School close on election day?
I do not remember. I know that there has been conversation.
So there's an
schools are well
agreement
aware there's
actually,
an agreement in place on how to do
between
it.
the town and the school district of what's gonna take place. And I don't recall all the details, but I remember seeing it. So,
okay. All right, so let's look at Article 19, landfill studies. Request for $30,000 from free cash. Board of Health was in to discuss this. And this is for basically the necessary studies before having to cap the landfill.
you haven't kept your landfill?
No,
Not yet.
Ouch.
No one has asked.
Hmm?
No one asked before.
No, I know, just the price is staggering.
all right, this is to fund initial landfill monitoring studies as required by the Department of Environmental Protection or take any action relative to thereto. So this was, again, the Board of Health was in to discuss this, so they were looking for $30,000 from free cash.
So this is just the monitoring. Okay,
Yes.
yep, okay.
This is Yeah.
the property that's on Gates Pond Road. Or is
No,
this
this
Jones?
No, no, no,
There's
no,
no-
that,
There's
that's,
Jones,
Jones.
Hudson.
That's
Oh,
Hudson's,
that's
yeah.
right, that's Hudson's. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
this is the one, this is right beside the transfer
Yeah,
station.
right behind.
You want a motion?
Yes.
Yeah, I move that we recommend Article 19 of the draft warrant as presented.
Okay.
Second that.
And we have a second. Any other questions or discussion on this? Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, I.
Sheena, I.
All right, Article 14 recommended
19.
19,
But we
4
were
to
for
0.
14 too, so.
Scott, I thought you were the numbers guy.
He likes the number.
It's a long day.
That's right, that's.
All right, and also this was Board of Health was in on this one regarding Article 20, a hazardous waste day to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash to fund costs associated with holding a hazardous waste day or take any action relative to thereto. So the request is $8,000 to fund a hazardous waste day.
All right, so in our records.
Right. It says
On free
9.
cash, it says 9,000. So
Right,
this
my
like
guess is,
flipped the-
my guess is that's a sort of
Flip-flopped.
transformation, yeah,
Yeah.
that someone put the wrong numbers, in the wrong lines.
Yeah, okay. So it all comes out to the
Yeah,
same bottom
It
line.
does, yeah,
which
it
is,
still comes out the same bottom line of 226,000
There
for
you
all
go,
the special
alright.
articles.
um,
All right,
And we think the 8,000 is the right number, Scott.
I
Yes,
think so,
okay.
yes.
we can always re-vote if
Yeah, we'll
if
tell
the
Peter about all
numbers
this.
are
Take a
different.
note, so.
All right, again, this was, the Board of Health was in to
Correct.
discuss this. So Article 20, do we have a motion?
Yeah, that we recommend Article 20 as presented in the draft warrant.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a second. All right, any other questions or discussion?
No,
All right, roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, I.
Sheena, I.
All right, recommended 4 to 0, Article 20. All right, Article 21, Berlin Master Plan Updates. Request of $5,000 from free cash to fund the town's master plan update. This is to update the town's 2013 master plan.
About time, right?
I thought they do 5,000 every year to update different sections of the master plan.
Is
But
this
they're
through
out
the,
there.
the planning?
Yeah, through the planning board, yes.
Okay,
Oh, there it is, yeah, planning board.
Is it above the line? Yeah, it's at 135 as of right now.
okay,
Motion?
yes.
Move that we recommend Article 21 as presented in the draft warrant.
Second.
You have a second?
Busy, right?
Well, actually, it works best to have you seconding because I know you're ready when, so you get around to say second. So. Efficiency.
Just enough notes so
Yeah.
I know what I need.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion on Article 21?
No.
Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Heidi, aye.
Sheena, I.
All right, Article 21 recommended 4-0. Next, it's Article 22, zoning bylaw revisions funding. This is a request for $15,000 from free cash to fund the rewriting of the zoning bylaw. So this is the Salmon
There was
Pond
more
Mall.
For the legal expenses of that, if I recall.
Oh, they gotta, I don't know, I mean, they're gonna, if they're gonna go through all your zoning bylaws, that's a lot of
The-
work.
Well,
Well,
they're
it's
specifically going
consulting.
over the zoning bylaws for the zoning overlay district for Solomon Pond Mall that was just sort of sold. I think this is for a combination of both legal and outside consulting if necessary.
It
Yeah,
says
Central
council
Mass.
provide Consulting services and town council review of
Right.
any zoning changes during this
Yeah.
rewrite, so that's,
Yep.
yeah.
This is as much as I remember correctly, proactive. Is that the new owners haven't come to us asking for sort of potential changes
Sure.
yet. But the idea is that with the goal is to try to play ball as long as they're not asking for something outrageous. And if they needed some tweaks or changes to make that sort of more productive, both for the town and for their return on investment, that we would be open to it.
Yeah, sure. I think it's reasonable to anticipate there will be some costs as these transactions go forward.
Also, they thought it was important to just show some goodwill that we're ready to do this because, you know, in some respects, they might come to us and we don't want to then have to wait for a town meeting to come up for the funds to do this. And that's why it's sort of proactive.
Yeah. Motion?
Yes.
I move that we recommend Article 22 as presented in the draft warrant.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any other questions or discussion on Article 22? Okay, roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary, I.
Heidi, aye.
Sheena, I.
Okay, Article 22 recommended 4-0. Article 23, paramedic training. So this is where we had this discussion with Fire EMS. Request for $72,000 from free cash to fund paramedic training. You have a motion for Article 23?
That we recommend Article 23 as presented in the draft.
Second that.
Okay,
Just officially in the draft I have is that the wording of the description, the fire chief is still sort of tweaking a little bit. It will not change the general nature of it, but see whether it can be made clearer.
okay.
The big thing for us is that dollar figure.
Yeah, the dollar amount is not changing and
And
the
it
purpose is
matches-
not changing.
It
Yeah.
matches the plan
Yep.
In that Google Drive we got.
And originally, because training normally would fall into the operating budget, but because this is a 1 year, 1 time thing, we didn't think that was an appropriate use. I have this big fear that you sometimes add to the budget a 1 time number and it has a habit of not disappearing after 1 year. And so it saves that from accidentally happening.
Okay, any other questions or discussion?
No. Uh,
All right,
should-
we'll call, actually, didn't we have a motion?
Yes, we
Yes, we
did.
already did.
Already
We covered that, yeah, covered there. Roll call, Scott, aye.
Mary Ann,
Heidi, aye.
Sheena, I.
Okay, Article 23 recommended.
It's
4
at
to
9.
0.
I was just gonna say,
Yes.
Mary, you don't usually
It's 15.
start this early.
Next, we have Article 24, Town Building and Facility Defibrillators. Request for $9,000 from free cash to fund the purchase, installation, maintenance, and repair of defibrillators for town-owned buildings and facilities.
move
What,
that we recommend this Article 24. It's presented in the draft form.
Second.
Okay, what buildings would that be? It would be obviously this building here.
I think some of it is, we've been approached sort of one-off ones here and there. So there's one, I think, down by the recreation fields now, but there's not one sort of universally sort of around town buildings. And so I don't remember what the plan was. I thought that was sort of here, Highway Barn and 1870, if they're not already there, but I don't remember the exact locations. But the fire chief is the one who came to us saying it does present sometimes a risk where it is at some places and not others. I believe they're already in the schools. Right,
so.
right,
That's law.
Mhm.
right. And so this is getting into a couple other places. And also because it's not a one-off thing, we'll make sure that they're like the same make, model, battery supplies as what's currently been the cruisers and on the fire truck, so that when we need to replace something, we're buying one brand of things and not multiple brands of things.
Mhm.
Do we know how many this 9,000 is funding for? I mean, do we
Check
know
in
what the?
Yeah, I don't know, and my notes here don't say either.
It's probably
They
in
are.
his,
I don't know what they are now.
Yeah, you can find it.
Scott, it's probably in his, budget requests.
Do you think it's
I don't know.
there?
This is in cap, this is free cash. It wouldn't
Yeah,
be
this is free
budget
cash.
request.
So it might be you have to pass this one over until you get that sort of detail.
Yeah, I think we should know what
Yep.
how much it costs per.
Right, and where they're going. That's a knowable thing. If you're not under such a tight timeline that you have to force one through. It's
No,
not.
and there is no description written here, so
No.
apparently that's coming.
That is coming, because I have in the notes here saying the chief is
Yeah.
going to provide the description.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
You want to pass on this
Y-
one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
do.
Because the description will
Yeah.
include how many and where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
26 is not a fiscal, although it has some fiscal impacts, but it is
Twenty-
officially a change to the bylaw.
25, right?
I'm sorry, 25, yes.
And then collection of fees.
Yeah, I think 26 and 27 are still in the process of being put
Figured
together.
out, okay.
They're not ready I don't think select board has even voted on those yet, although you could always vote before select board. but I don't think
Alright.
they're-
It looks like that is our accomplishments on the articles for tonight.
Yeah.
All right, we knocked off how many?
How much?
Quite a few,
Chapter
actually.
59, 41C and a half.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the
15 of them.
MGL. I'll have to find that out. There is 135,000 in the OPEB stabilization. at the-
So 115, so back on article, I think it's
I
10 or
don't know if
11
the select
for
board
the
wanna vote
OPEB.
first or.
It doesn't really matter, and since the select board's in, I can't speak for the select board because I'm only one member, but our intent was to put enough in it. So not put the 287, but put enough in it to qualify, and so if it's 115, it is likely the select board would end
So-
up.
I don't think it'll be a matter for long discussion. If we're gonna
Right.
finalize some of these others, or we
Yeah,
need
yeah.
data, then let's
Yeah.
put the data, let's put the financial number actually in it and then.
Yep.
And then vote.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Let me do something quick here.
And our agenda, select board has the same sort of thing, go over warrant articles as a
Okay.
generic one that we will fix and try to remove yellow, and I think there's a couple of them that we still might even disappear before town meeting.
If it was the only thing open for information,
yeah.
I would say let's vote it
Yeah.
out, but it's not, so.
I'm sharing, so how do I unshare after I hid the,
It's. Let's move it up. What are you looking for, Scott?
Well, I want to unshare for a moment.
Oh,
I hit it because it was there.
If you go to the Chrome tab, at the Chrome at the very bottom, you see you have more than one instance of Chrome open. I bet it's on. No, it's just the drive. You could just,
if you don't want. the
Oh, right
anymore,
in here.
I was gonna say, if you just X out of.
I don't see Zoom even running. Maybe you're not sure.
Oh, I'm sharing.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll forward. I was good.
Okay.
While I was remembering, but I'll email it
Yeah.
to
If for some reason
Yeah,
I don't see
the-
it by Saturday or Sunday, I'll shoot you a reminder.
as soon when we
Yeah.
adjourn, I will do it. Then. Okay, so that covers what we have for the articles tonight. How about the budget itself? What do we want to cover here? There's lots of big items here still that's still unknown to me what where we are to even what the levy impact is even with what we have here. Can we let's go to the schools since we got new numbers. Can we take a look and see how things shifted around, have that discussion? So let's look at the capital items. We'll kind of discuss from there. So taking a look at some things change. So they were looking at their capital and one-time cost requests.
Yeah, that I
Comparison,
had
it was slide 37 when they presented here 2 weeks ago. And there was one, let's see. Place. A lot of things have changed significantly. Here, Lex Boylston, I don't care about that. So this is looking here, slide 37 kind of corresponds to slide 4 here. The Tohoto capital and one-time cost requests. At that time, they were looking at possibly doing that from E and D. So let's see how things have changed here. Replace student and staff technology, still there, 120,000. Replace IDF and elevator control control AC, 17,000. Auditorium lighting and projector, 35,000. Update lighting controls and gym lighting, 50,000. Let's see. Looks like there's a new one added here, and that's classroom projectors and boards, 30,500. Replace wireless access points there, 80,000. Middle school furniture, 30,000. Lego computer science and AI bundles, 18,000. And a few extra things have been added in here, so let's see, the field line painter and mower is here, added in at 26,000. School van was there before at 60,000. The walkie-talkies are new at 12,500. And Avid curriculum was there at 6,000. So everything, nothing was removed. And they added 3 items, the walkie-talkie upgrade, the field line painter and mower, and the classroom projectors and boards. I believe I have that correct. So it was previously adding up to 416, so those were, what was it, 30,500, 12,500, and the 26,000
Total, supposed to burn.
Mhm.
9. 69,000.
So we're coming in at 36% of the total.
Yeah,
Our share versus, Boylston.
Right, which is based on the school
Yeah.
population on October first.
Yeah.
what was the
I showed,
I come up with 36.1, if you want to be technical about it, is the Berlin share of total. Just those two, I'm taking the two total numbers,
Yep.
the total capital bottom line, and I just stuck it in the calculator.
which is funny because the capital assessment of their last request we show in the budget is 234,540. And it's gone down to 175,077.
Correct.
Okay,
So I
well,
don't know how
that
they
was,
added numbers, to increase the total, but lowered the amount they're charging Berlin.
well, because the last we had, they were expecting to fund $416,000 of this was gonna come out of their excess and deficiency, and not out of the operating.
Right, and we prefer excess deficiency go to non-capital items.
As to offset our input on the
yeah.
straight operational, that
Right, yep.
was the, can you do this? That was so we might be looking in the capital items of how they might do it. But I don't have the operating piece. What we got today in the Google Drive end of day was just those numbers, just the capital numbers. There's nothing in there about operating, so it's
Let's
not
see.
enough information for me to have an opinion.
So let's see how things have changed, on the BMS.
Google Drive.
I was
Um,
gonna say, if you flip over to the line item
If you look on the line items, it's in there.
to see where the differences are.
Oh, they are.
Right.
the difference
This
is-
is what you got is a total number for Berlin in the, in the.
No, I
assessment.
have I took all their numbers, I put it in the spreadsheet and you got it.
Right, but it's not.
It's
'cause
not in the,
It's not-
it's not in the
it's-
tab. It's
Right.
in the, it's in
Yeah, I
the,
understand, I understand.
it's in the
Right.
expenditures, right there.
Right, but it's not. Where is it? What column is it in?
So
in-
it's under
The
the
new one
tab
is under
expenditures and then it would be,
expenditures.
uh,
Right,
it'd be
27.
under general government towards the end.
No,
of
I
this.
have it. And so in column CZ, fiscal year 27 budget requests, I still see 234,540 for Tohoto capital assessment and 25,000 for Berlin Memorial capital assessment. I'm not seeing the revised numbers.
If you look over at the
Oh,
TA's budget.
It's
you
under
look
the
over
TA
TT.
budget column, not under the requested column. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, I can go back and change those, but. I don't know if it was.
and so if you look at the
original
difference
request.
between the column CZ, which would have been their earlier request, to column DD is the current request.
Mhm.
So you can see that sort of Berlin Memorial Assessment went down by about, what, 15,500. And the Tohoto
With the official
assessment
letter.
went down,
No,
oh, it
no,
looks like it
so
went
it's
down
just-
almost
Yeah,
190,000.
it's not a.
In fact, their total request went, well, I'm sorry, their total request went from 10,194,610 to 10,069,226. And so they did cut $130,000 off the total request when you count both capital and operating,
The combination,
the combination.
okay. Which is why this current, the slides that we got on the capital stuff make no sense to me. They're just not grounded anywhere. So, and these are numbers that you put in, Jeff, from information you got from the district
This afternoon.
this
Right.
afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
based on their vote last night.
On an
Okay,
official letter.
that's right. Yesterday was Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gotta change this. The budget request is now different, okay. Do that tomorrow. The other tab.
So Scott, I'm looking at the line, Scott Hawkins, I'm looking at the line. The total assessment line. And the columns you pointed me at were what?
CZ, the fiscal year 27
CZ.
budget request was what they previously had requested.
If you
So
look at-
that's 10,194,000, yeah.
Right, and
And then-
DD is what they passed last night.
So here's what
Okay.
They asked before, and here's the new number.
Yep.
So 10,194 to 10,069,
So it's roughly 130.
Yep.
round numbers. Yeah.
Yep.
And
It went from-
that rolls up everything.
Yep,
So it's debt, everything is in it.
That number didn't change.
Well, yeah.
Class in Southborough tomorrow, so. I won't
So-
be-
You always got, I'm looking
Might
at column
walk in late.
DK. And we've got a minus dollar change. What's
Well,
that?
because that's based on the numbers below it that says they've not been voted on yet, have not been entered. And so it's 100% decrease because at this point you've not voted on a recommended number. DK is the amount that FinCom is recommended.
So we, all right, I see, okay. Okay, and then when we looked at percent change, the original ask, last time we looked at it was 10.4% increase. Now we're looking at a 9% increase with everything rolled into
Yep.
it. And that's half our budget roughly.
Half when you count, I think schools as a whole are half, and so you have to count Assabet to get to a half.
That's right, okay.
So what are your thoughts? Would you like to see what the original budget is in the budget request, just to see the difference, or
Yeah, I
do you want it all changed in the budget request? What works
I don't
better?
understand.
Well, I think the difficult part here is trying to extrapolate as things are moving around, what's coming from the levy, how we're funding from the levy, and what's coming from free cash. And that's where things get to be much more mushy here. And that's where
Get
you,
off for next week.
You think
Yeah.
you just need a little more time to fill in those numbers, Scott, is
Well, it's
asking
just-
about?
well, yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, part of it is determining, I mean, well, we still have several items that still have to be determined. The COA, I think there's lots of uncertainty there still.
Yeah, that's on the agenda for the select board next week.
Okay, building inspector, we're still.
Hopefully be on the agenda.
Yeah, but I think in both the difference, the amount that we will potentially recommend
Is
cutting
not-
is,
is
you're
stamped.
talking about it tens of thousands at most. You're
Yeah.
not talking about six figures.
Right.
I'd be floored if we cut 50,000
Yeah.
as the person who generally tries to cut things. Speaking it as one select board member and not as a policy of the select board, because we've not voted on those items yet.
Yeah, we were looking at 10,000 with rec, and it's like,
Right.
And
Right.
and the knock-on impact with the schools, the interface there with Berlin Memorial is quite important. To some of these other costs, I think.
So right now, are we looking at any other, well, we have to figure out. Just say with some of these things, well, as capital items, I mean, we can consider them available for free cash. We have to figure out how that is moved around. So right now, this was allocating free cash for BMS in Tohoto Capital.
59.
Being 259,540.
Yeah.
What is now the new capital number?
Would be a combination of those two. So they get them.
So the capital number
175 and 169 plus whatever.
169,884 and 175.
Because with that as a number.
344,
Yes,
sorry.
With that becomes, when,
961.
with that as a known number, the school's capital, then it will trickle through to like how much we put into capital stabilization and a few others. I just don't have the ability to update the spreadsheet. Which is good. Cause I would mess it up and.
No,
flip other
I'm
people.
happy that those are the circumstances you're dealing with.
So
I
these,
think one person, probably be one author on a
Right,
spreadsheet. huh?
right.
these gonna be.
You could add commenters and
Is that part of the school?
344, 961.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Yeah, so Scott came to the same number I did by typing into the same similar calculator.
Okay.
340.
So that's an additional 85,421.
But these. You guys normally list the long list or you just put an amount in there?
The schools is technically one number only, but
Well, where's the
usually
warrant
they
article?
do list it usually.
So you're not
List
voting
it.
on these numbers?
You can't.
Yeah,
We
we can't.
I
give
know
it-
that,
give it
so
for
it's just-
informational
just
purposes.
Information, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more.
And
So
so
do you put the
under,
whole list on there? That's my question.
we
Well,
typically
Jeff, we
do.
used to vote on them separately and then
That's
Bessie
legal.
got involved a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
right,
so you
right.
really
Now
gotta
you
be voting
can't.
one number.
Right, I agree with that, but I'm
So-
looking at the warrant and it lists where the capital is going, it has 3 items, but now there's 9 or 10 items. Is that all going on the warrant for information?
We
That's-
typically do so that
That's
people
what I'm
know.
just trying to
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah,
Okay,
so yeah, the
Yeah.
chart that has 3 items, it was 3 items up until this later request.
Right,
So that should
so-
now have all 9.
Yes.
whatever the number, okay,
Yep.
Yeah, because I think they probably
That's
moved
just
them out of
information.
the
Yep.
line items.
okay.
So ideally, on the revenue side, on line 42, column R, we should try to target free cash to cover the full capital items, which require that 259,540 to be 344,961.
Yep.
Line 42, column R.
It's
It's in
on,
yellow, so
it's
it's a
on
little easier.
It's
the
on the
revenue
revenue
pay tab.
sheet.
Yeah, revenue.
Yeah.
Other revenue sources.
I don't have the other thing.
That's fine.
I just been working on this one, so I don't have the revenue. But I can write that down.
Yeah, line 42, column R. All right, and then going back
So-
to expenditures. Let's go back to school section. Way too low. Right, so assuming the other numbers, I mean, are they just level right now, or what they, or actually they had just the COLA increases, like,
Scott, before you get into those details, could you go back to the school and what is the number that is capital versus non-capital? Did you just do a calculation of
Yeah,
that?
the calculation is Berlin Memorial Capital Assessment at 169,884,
169,
884.
884, okay,
And Tohoto Capital Assessment at 175,077.
thank you.
And that gets you the number that Scott.
344,961.
Yep.
And that 349 that's the total capital number?
Yes, that's the capital number that we would generally take out of free cash.
what's our deficit? Well, what's our deficit right now?
If you go to you go to this tab that's off the screen called summary. No, off the screen the other direction. It's the
Oh,
first
no.
tab.
Right there. And
Now,
that's
you
without
have to-
changing the
you-
free cash.
right,
and
you
all
have-
those things.
Right, you have
Right.
to adjust a couple of numbers
Right,
that you've voted on, or not
Right.
voted on, but have been presented.
right.
You scroll down a little bit further. It refers to that, so that as it refers to a deficit would be the amount of money that we'd reduce the excess levy capacity by.
If you go down just a little
Right,
bit.
but
It took me a while to really
But isn't the
wrap my head
9
around what that number
the
represents, 'cause she
10.9
calls it
gonna be
deficit,
reduced
but
because you're not raising up. You're gonna
Um,
pay
you
some
don't
of
have
that out of
deficit.
free
You
cash.
will
What
tax the
number
amount
you're
you
referring
tax,
to?
you
The
know.
budget
Yeah.
includes
we'd have to change that, yeah.
344,000
Well, she
Right.
called, she
in
called
free
it
cash,
deficit
so
because
that should
that's
come
what's
out,
beyond.
right?
It's
New
gonna be
growth.
up. I
Unless it's
believe,
above.
2.5.
Well,
Where's
we-
the
Right,
revenue?
we already
Right.
have the
Excess
revenue.
levy
But the
capacity.
revenue is gonna be different.
Here.
Yeah, it's gonna be
We're
slightly
gonna
higher.
increase it.
It's
It-
off by
Where's the
85,000.
free cash?
Well, but since
Yeah.
the school went down by 130,000 on the request, the net will be,
So, but that's
actually,
all
you'll
free
probably end
cash
up even
requests.
significantly
So
better
we
than
have to
that.
go
I think you're
through
gonna
and
end up
look
about
at-
You don't have
130,000 to the
special
good.
articles. Special
Huh?
articles.
If I do my
Special
math
articles
quickly in
they
my
keep
head.
Separate.
Cause it's all free cash.
Uh,
So this is
on
to
that-
do the levy.
on
take
just
the
Capital
budget, do the
washes,
levy.
because you'll increase the capital
Yeah.
because it comes out of free cash. So the change in capital had no impact on the amount of money you'll take
So
from
where'd the
taxpayers.
520?
The reduction of $130,000
The difference
from
between what we'd
their
like to-
operating would
No,
reduce
no, to go, can you go up a
the
little?
overspend, if you want to call it that, by $130,000.
There was a motion to do the thing I
Is
requested.
it for other things as well? It
Here,
must be.
maybe.
Yeah.
It sounds like they did
It
about
does
what you,
sound-
because they
Oh,
went
okay.
up
Look at that.
85,000 in
Yeah.
capital, came down 130 in
Yeah,
operating.
This is just
Yeah.
a different animal.
So,
for me.
Yeah,
they
they
did
did.
a little bit, in some respects,
Yeah,
more
we
than you
do
asked, because you
a
wanted
little
sort of a dollar for
differently.
dollar. They almost did on.
Where we
one
had
and a half to
excess
one.
levy
Yeah.
before.
Okay.
Well, no, I just,
And so if you take $130,000 off what Kristen called a deficit, I disagree with that wording, but the eating into excess levy capacity, you're at about a $450,000.
yeah, I don't know what the 520.
Which
was.
is gonna get us closer to that 4%.
This one
tax
here, it's coming out of the free cash.
Yeah,
So she's
I haven't done
carrying-
that math in my
So
head.
she,
to change
she's carrying 259, 450 in free cash, so that now is gonna go up to 344.
Right, but
Yeah.
so will the
Right.
capital
So-
request, so it'll be a
right.
wash when
Right,
it comes to capital.
That's right.
Well, let's see, it's 85. Or
Well, but that
21.
85420 has no impact on that number.
Right, no, it
Right.
does in the sense of the additional levy, the
Okay.
580.
It doesn't, because you're gonna
It kicked
increase free
We
cash
just
by that
changed the
same
revenue
amount.
side.
Yep.
And so
We
because you're
gotta
gonna
look at all
increase and change free cash the same amount as that request,
Gonna be-
it won't have
keep
any
the total
impact on the
down.
levy.
We've already included the capital number in there, the expense there. We haven't increased the revenue side of it. So it's 85,000. I'm not talking about the levy.
I know what you're talking about,
Yes,
but
right. I-
because it was changed in the spreadsheet only in the TA recommendation and not in the request column, it actually has not been changed in the spreadsheet.
Right, that's what I'm trying to calculate right here. So the increase, the extra increase of levy beyond the 2.5 is 495,564.
I disagree, but fine.
I don't know how you disagree, but.
Because he did, I mean, you know.
But.
Well, you're saying the.
I'm saying the 85,421 is not a number relevant to levy capacity. And thus, if you subtract it,
That's why I have subtracted it.
right, it is not relevant, therefore it shouldn't be included, should not be included in your math.
I need that number in order to figure out what the levy is. If I don't, I'm not including that here.
Again,
I mean-
I don't agree with your assessment, but
All right.
but go on.
Because this Scott is saying 85,000 is a free cash number, and
Yes, right, it is 85,000 is a
so
free
that-
cash number.
Between
that's
the,
not gonna impact the levy.
It will
Am I-
increase the.
That is my assertion, yes.
that's gonna go up.
So that's gonna go down a little bit. Not a lot.
No, because you're also gonna change the expense by that same, that
That's-
85,000
that's
is
the
gonna be on.
new- that's
It's
the
gonna
new
be on
number.
both sides of the equation.
But
the
because
expense is-
is not yet in the spreadsheet because it's in the wrong column.
Well, but this.
Well,
is
the
right-
the
this
total
right
is
number.
there.
Where is it in the wrong column?
The 10,912 is the total school budget.
Right, so DD is not what you are totaling up on the summary tab, you're calling that CZ. And thus the change for the school budget was put into
The
DD.
10,912 is what's being. on
Oh,
the
you're saying
summary
that this
sheet.
is
you
coming
think
from
that-
CZ?
You think DD is what's going to the summary page, not CZ.
It is. If you
Yes.
go to the summary page, you're gonna see 10,9.
right there. What's not changed is the revenue.
But the revenue
Yep.
needs to go up just a little bit, and that'll give you a little bit lower number of the 580. It'll be
Yeah,
a little
so it'd
bit
be
lower by
four-
the difference of the free cash
About
change.
490 something.
Yeah, 495.
Yeah, okay. I'm off the top of my head, so.
Right. So it is using DD.
It
This
is,
is what we've come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
he has it up there.
All right. So we do have it on the expenditure side. And then with the 85, when it's corrected to
Yeah.
put that on the revenue side, it'll leave us with, so basically additional 495 as it
Plus
presently
whatever
stands.
changes along.
Right, as it
Yeah.
presently stands, be 495. And where's the levy?
What's
so the
the-
85,000
Go
less.
down.
What's the less obligation?
What is the 2.5%? What was the 2.5%? Um,
I think it's at the bottom.
Cherry
where
sheet.
is it?
No, it was just.
I think it's cherry sheet.
You're looking for the 2.5% amount, Scott?
Go down, Scott.
Oh,
to
it's
the
down
bottom.
here.
No, go back to the summary page
Summary. Yes, I
at the
thought,
bottom.
See, it says less obligation.
Allowed.
55.
Allowed
That's the,
2.5, 400,
cherry sheet
4,000?
and overlay.
oh, the two increase is
Well, I get the
404,000.
overlay, what? The,
Go down a little bit more.
so
It's right
the-
there.
I mean, I could
It's
talk to.
it's right here, line 33. This is the number
Yeah.
I'm looking for. What the 2.5% increase was, 404,000. So if you add another 485, you're at another 2.5 plus, so you're actually over a 5% levy as it stands right now. Okay. And the 495 of is approximately well, just over half of the excess levy capacity of where she had that number
It's down right there.
992. Oh, it's pretty much half of the levy, excess levy capacity. Okay. Now we got that straightened out. Anything else we want to cover on the budget this time? So you'll update the
Yeah.
number and put it in and everybody can
I'll
access it
move
and
the
take a
budget.
look.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Any other discussions you want to have?
She's not around till next Wednesday, so you might get less information on some of this, because gotta get on through everything and belt and suspenders. And also the select board might take a position on a couple items next week.
Cause you haven't voted on the school stuff either, right?
No, because we didn't have the final numbers, and so
Right.
we have not. I expect that we'll hit at least two of the three items: schools, council on aging, because they're coming to present. And we might or might not do building inspector based on whether or not we have information at that point, but really that one becomes a
Tweak.
tweak,
Yeah.
less than a rounding error, so.
So it's just gonna be what you decide.
And in some respects, we might take a stab at a number and realize that it might even be well after budget is done, and we'll make a transfer of some sort if necessary. The biggest problem with building inspector is actually not the number, but that if it's a contractor, it's under intergovernmental and it's a different section versus if it's a staff
It
person
wouldn't
where
be a
it's
salary.
it wouldn't be a salary. And so,
Understood, it's an expense.
right.
Um,
But I don't think the number is going to change
Do
much
things
between them.
It would be intergovernmental because it would be cooperative somewhere in the region.
right.
We would be doing that. And
Right.
would that be all inspection or just
Just building
the building.
inspector.
just the commissioner, building commissioner? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd still have electrical.
You'll have some
Right.
expenses for whatever those.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that are still town. So, but
Mhm.
we'll know more information. But he's right, the overall is not gonna go up
Or down much.
20,000 or up, up or down, So,
Okay. Is there any, communications on with the Boylston side, town side?
On what?
Where they stand,
I get this.
no,
at
we're, this
2:30
is the
this
school,
afternoon.
okay.
And you know what? I only got it today because they said we have a meeting tonight. He was gonna send this out to them. So I don't know if they
Okay.
even got it.
Well, that's probably why we got the detail on the capital, not the rest, but you have the full picture. And you put the number into the.
All I get is the email.
Yeah, no, the top line picture you got.
That's
Yeah.
all I got, right? Yeah, I didn't get any, and
Yeah, sure.
I got the capital.
Sure,
That was it.
okay,
So,
thank you,
I was just
Jeff,
trying
that's
to rush
helpful.
to get some information.
And did you mention that, some suggestion that the two towns, that there be some.
Well, I mean, the school, we met with the superintendent and the business manager last week and, the school went through some, for better or worse issues and I think it's time to have a general powwow, maybe after the, with all, with the powers to be in each community and, there's, what do you really want? And obviously you need the school committee members there, whoever gets elected, and I don't know what's going on in Williston, but I mean, you can't sustain that kind of increase. I think they understand that too, but what do the communities want?
Mhm.
So
But this is not, this is.
that's not gonna solve this year.
Right, this is post this
This is
budget.
going like, okay,
Got it.
let's start early
Okay.
on and start some conversations and, what can we sustain and,
Mhm.
what does that mean? And, and you don't do that in March or,
No, no, right,
I
understood.
mean, you just can't go year after year.
Right, and we have the regular, full-time district superintendent coming in this summer, so
Right.
it's a good time.
Wait till September. Or
Yeah, it's a
whatever.
good time to do it, yeah.
Yep.
Well, true to my promise, I did see our state senator, our state rep last weekend at a thing, and I advocated for flipping that funding equation between the state and the municipalities on public education. We're now about 70-30. The municipalities are picking up 70, the state's picking up 30, and I put that request out again. We need to flip that formula. We need to particularly flip it around those hill and valley expenses like special education and transportation.
Right.
And that
Yeah, they haven't
you're not
changed
gonna,
that
you're not
formula.
gonna straighten out public schools and actually affordable housing until you
Like 15
do
years
that,
of
until you change those funding sources. And then the MMA report on where Massachusetts sits across the country, for state funding to localities, we're in the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
So the state senator Kennedy and state
And
rep
on the
Kilgore,
other hand, there
no,
might be a ballot question to cut the income tax, right? Well, it was sales, what was it, the sales is from 5 to 4%. Really?
yeah,
Is
we
that-
talked, we
it's
talked
just
about that
sales
too.
tax.
That's
Yeah.
a bit crazy
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
look at
but-
what's going on right now.
People are angry.
Just
Yeah.
because they put it on the ballot and it maybe passes, doesn't mean it goes into effect.
Gee, isn't that, like, we're not getting an audit done? We're not gonna get an audit done of the legislature? 73% people say, well, it's a good idea, but that doesn't matter. So, yeah. Anyway.
All right, we'll leave the
Jeff, for
rest of the
information.
budget discussion for next week.
Yeah.
All right, so no reserve fund.
I do not have a reserve fund transfer as of today, but it looks like depending on what the rest of the next couple of months does, we may need to have a reserve fund transfer for fuel oil. Yeah, that's what we said too.
Do you think you need the individual delivery? Because I was
Well-
buying today and then I saw that
Prices.
they listed the new spot price and yes, it's a huge jump.
Yeah, well, we're still paying the same that we paid last year, which is
Yeah, they probably bought a future.
a gallon.
Right.
But as of the end of February, we just got all the bills and we've only got $6,900 left, which if it goes as well as last year did, we should be able to squeak by with that. But I just wanted to give you a quick heads up. I'll keep you posted as we go
So
along.
is
but-
Jeff going around turning down all the thermostats?
No,
Yeah, it's gonna be cold again next week too.
well, you know,
No more
yeah,
cold.
We don't know.
Yeah, so, but just a quick heads up where we only do have only 25,000 left in the reserve fund right now. That,
So we're on a contract with our rural
Yeah.
supplier, yeah.
yes, 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 and
So they buy futures and we get the bid.
so
I'm,
we'll,
I'm there too. It's nice to have right now.
that's all I have.
Okay, all right, motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second that.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.